You haven't already. On Thursday, I was by the National Medical Center here, and we're going to stay for the mission one night. So I was Indiana.
Thank you, ladies. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our ceremony will begin in about 2 minutes. At this time, I ask that you please either turn off your cell phone or silence those. I'm your MC for today's ceremony. I'm retired Air Force Senior Master Sergeant Bob Winkler. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this Memorial Day. We observe this day on the last day of Monday of May to remember and honor the men and women who died while in military service of their country and those that made the ultimate sacrifice. If you're able, please rise for the presentation of colors by the O'Connor High School Junior ROTC Color Guard under the direction of Colonel J.A. Ramos, U.S. Air Force, retired. Please remain standing until the colors have been presented and the invocation has been delivered. Color Guard, advance the colors. The 323rd Army Band Mission Brass Quintet will now play the Star Spangled Banner. Please feel free to sing along.
Present arms.
Our invocation will be delivered by our very own Memorial Services Detachment, Chaplain Mike Giglio, Vietnam veteran, U.S. Army, Sergeant. Mike.
Thank you, sir. Let us uncover, please. Lord of the universe, we gather here today to remember those who have cherished freedom and liberty more than life itself. Let us recall with thanksgiving and pride the sailors, the soldiers, Marines, the airmen, members of the Coast Guard, who have lost their lives in defense of America. Let us dedicate our lives to the ideas for which they paid the supreme price. Their legacy is our birthright and our responsibility. Lord, help us perform the mission placed in our hands, that generations yet unborn will continue to enjoy the freedoms that we hold dear. Grant us the skill, the dedication, and courage to maintain the bright torch of liberty, that our land may ever exist in peace and security. In your holy name we pray, amen. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen. At this time, I would like to recognize our distinguished guests. Distinguished guests, when you're introduced, would you and your spouse is present, please stand and be recognized. I would also like to ask the audience to please hold their applause until after everyone has been introduced. On the stage, we have San Antonio's own Mayor Ron Nirenberg. Congressman on the front row, Congressman Tony Gonzalez. Colonel Will Freds and wife Amanda. Fernando Aguilar and Irene Chavez Galvan. Cody Hamilton. Nathan Zuniga. Christine Jacobs, husband Greg and son Ty. AJ Marshall. Gold Star and surviving military families. We have 12 of those in attendance. Mike De Los Santos and Michael De Los Santos. We also have Judge Michael Murray. Judge. Thank you. Additionally, I would like to recognize all of you in attendance today to show your appreciation for, to honor, and to remember our fallen heroes. Thank you for being here. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Gerald Leffler, Director of Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery, who will give the opening comments.
Thank you, Bob. Mr. Wilson, Mayor Nirenberg, Congressman Gonzalez, elected officials and staff members, Gold Star and surviving military families, civic and service organizations, families and friends of those we remember today, America's veterans and their families, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Memorial Day 2024 ceremony here at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery. I'm privileged to be with you on this Memorial Day to honor those heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice defending our country and our way of life. The cost of war is incalculable, and we can never repay the families who lost their loved ones to the horrors of war. The very least we can do is memorialize those heroes with words of tribute, the presentation of wreaths, and pausing in silence to pray for restful peace. In our nation's history, brave men and women have worn the uniform of our country, risking their lives on so many days, over many years, in so many different places. From the American Revolution through the two world wars, to the global war on terror, and every conflict in between, Americans have answered the call to arms. As we approach the 80th anniversary of Operation Overlord, better known as D-Day, on June 6th, it is easy to relate this day to World War II. More than 16 million Americans served in the armed forces during World War II. More than 291,000 were killed in action. Most of those heroes were hastily buried in temporary cemeteries near where they fell. After the war, families were given the choice to either return their loved ones' remains to the American homeland or to rest in place overseas. Around 30% chose interment with their comrades in arms overseas, while 70% chose repatriation to the United States to be buried in private and national cemeteries. The National Cemetery Administration's 155 national cemeteries are the final resting place of more than 37,000 of these World War II casualties. Excuse me. Private First Class Clinton E. Smith is one of these. PFC Smith was from Wichita Falls, Texas. In 1943, he was a music student at Baylor University in Waco when he enlisted in the Army. He was assigned to the 157th Infantry Regiment in Delta Company of the 1st Battalion as a member of a machine gun crew. Clinton participated in the Anzio landings in early 1944. His unit continued the push through Italy to Rome, and later they participated in the campaign to liberate France, attacking from the south. On 14 January 1945, PFC Smith's unit was near Riepertsweiler in the Alsace region of France. His unit was surrounded by German forces as they made a push to break through U.S. lines. He was killed when an artillery strike hit his machine gun. He was 19 years old. Killed on territory controlled by the Germans, PFC Smith and some of the other fallen could not be recovered. After the war, Army graves registration came through the area and recovered the remains of American soldiers and moved them to a temporary cemetery in Saint-Avold, France. However, many, due to the manner of their death, the subsequent hasty burial, and time that had passed, they could not be identified. These were later buried as unknowns in the various American overseas cemeteries. In 2022, the Defense Prisoner of War and Missing in Action Accounting Agency, in partnership with the American Battle Monuments Commission, disinterred an unknown soldier designated X6985 Saint-Avold, who had been buried in the Henri Chapelle American Cemetery in Belgium since the war. They were able to positively identify those remains as PFC Clinton E. Smith, United States Army, Bronze Star, and Purple Heart recipient. In November of last year, at the request of his family, PFC Smith was laid to rest here in Section PA near the entrance to the cemetery. Clinton is no longer missing in action. PFC Smith holds personal meaning for me. Prior to coming here to San Antonio, I worked for the American Battle Monuments Commission in both Paris and Manila, Republic of the Philippines. I managed the partnership between ABMC and DPAA for the repatriation and identification of unknown soldiers. I was with the ABMC when X6985 Saint-Avold was disinterred from Henri Chapelle, transported to Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska for possible identification. And I was honored to be here at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery when PFC Smith found his final resting place. PFC Smith and the thousands of stories like his define Memorial Day. And it is all of those stories that we commemorate today. Shifting gears for a moment, I want to acknowledge the unwavering dedication and devotion displayed daily by the staff here at Fort Sam Houston National Cemetery. Throughout the year, regardless of the weather, these patriots come to work to make sure veterans are properly memorialized and laid to rest in their most dignified manner. Veterans comprise 70% of all employees of the National Cemetery Administration. Here at Fort Sam Houston, with 55 staff, veterans represent 89% of our workforce. They are soldiers, sailors, and airmen who serve this great nation and continue to serve the community today. I would also like to thank our all-volunteer, all-veteran Memorial Services Detachment who are serving as our honor guard today. These great Americans volunteer thousands of hours every year providing military honors to veterans during memorial services. Thank you, Fort Sam Houston team. In closing, as you visit here today, I would ask that you stop at a gravesite and read a veteran's name, rank, and service component. Say their name out loud. Reflect on the fact that this American served and sacrificed for us. They ask for nothing in return except to be remembered as we honor veterans in our national cemeteries with dignity, respect, and unwavering gratitude. If you have a few minutes, take out your smartphone and go to va.gov/remember. This will take you to the Veteran Legacy Memorial site where you can find that serviceman's personal memorial page and post a short tribute or upload a photo of your visit. Help us to achieve the NCA objective that no veteran ever dies. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting veterans and their families. And thank you for honoring those who made the ultimate sacrifice. May God bless you, our service members, our veterans, and the United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Leffler, for welcoming everyone to this ceremony and for all you and your staff do for us every day. Now it is my honor and privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Keith Wilson, Executive Director, Bexar County Military and Veteran Services. Keith is a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel. He graduated from West Point in 1997 and served as an armor officer as well as in various staff assignments in his over 25-year career. He served in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Kuwait as well. He is a native of San Antonio, Texas, and returned to his hometown in 2022 to continue serving his community and fellow veterans. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Wilson to the podium.
Good morning. As he said, my name is Keith Wilson. I'm a retired Army soldier, and I'm the director of Bexar County's Department of Military and Veteran Services. When the director, Jerry Leffler, asked me to come speak, he said I had 45 minutes. And so I put my remarks together, reflected on my experiences, and I showed up this morning and I showed him my 32 pages of notes. He said, Keith, I said 4 to 5 minutes. And in this heat, you better keep it closer to 4. So I've got my 7-year-old executive assistant up here. It's going to keep me in check and make sure that I do this right. Remember. Today, we remember. Now, over this last Memorial Day weekend, families have gathered across Bexar County for barbecue picnics, trips to the rivers, lakes, and pools, and in our case, the unofficial kickoff to summer. Some schools ended last week, and many will this week with graduations throughout. There are many things to celebrate this Memorial Day weekend. But while we do this, let us take a moment to reflect on and remember why we celebrate Memorial Day. This holiday is different. This holiday is unique. Memorial Day honors the men and women who died in service to their country, to protect and care for each of us. Today we honor those who did not get to come home to their families or their friends. They are not enjoying barbecues or lake outings, and so their sacrifice must not go unnoticed. Our military service members are a wonderful slice of America. They come from all walks of life. They come from different racial and ethnic backgrounds. They come from different social and religious backgrounds. They come from different educational and economic backgrounds. They represent the diversity of our nation and the greatness of our nation. The military does an amazing thing in bringing these men and women together, giving them challenging requirements, sometimes with minimal resources, and expecting them to excel, as if their lives and the lives of others depend on it. And sometimes it does. And they do. They do succeed. They succeed because they put others before themselves. They succeed because they have a dedication to duty, a commitment to the team. They have courage and pride, honor and integrity. They are the best our nation has to offer. And today we honor and remember those who gave their life for us. They are America's heroes. They are our heroes. And on Memorial Day, we remember them. Today, I remember my 7 classmates who died in the line of duty. I remember Josh Byers, an upperclassman at West Point who molded and mentored me as a young cadet and gave his life in service to our country. Most of us here have someone that we remember today. Many will ask how to truly honor the ultimate sacrifices these heroes have made for us. I believe the greatest honor that we can share and show appreciation is to find a way to take advantage of the opportunity that you have been given to serve others. You can find many ways to serve now and in the future that does not need to involve joining the military, as noble as that is. It could be volunteering at an animal shelter or a homeless shelter, cleaning up trash in your neighborhood or around your school. Maybe you'll find joy in serving in your church or somewhere else in your community. Some will choose to become police officers, firefighters, social workers, or maybe pursue the noble art of teaching our youth as educators. I suggest we all find something that gives us pride in knowing that we are helping others. Let this become your why you wake up in the morning and why you do the things you do. That is the best way to honor the sacrifices of our fallen heroes. So Monday, as we enjoy our barbecues and family outings and reflect on this last weekend, let us remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice to ensure that we have the freedom to do more for others. Thank you for letting me be here. I'm getting the thumbs up from my daughter that it is time to go. So thank you all for being here and joining us on this special day.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson, for sharing those inspiring words with us on this Memorial Day. Now we will hear from the Alamo Metro Chorus as they sing the song, Go the Distance.